bioinformatics. Honored to welcome a very special guest who brings tons of experience to our institution. It is with great excitement and introduce you to our distinguished speaker, Anjali Mogre ma'am. Mrs. Anjali Mogre is a seasoned professional with a in artificial intelligence. Currently serving a pivotal role, she is a principal consultant for data science and big data analytics at ATIS. As evidenced by her illustrious career of more than 25 years, she, with her statistical background of various domains under data science, such as ma'am has more than 25 years of experience and she has a keen understanding of various domains such as data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics, prompt engineering, and also emotional intelligence. Ma'am has conducted workshops for corporations as well as educational institutes. She has worked with prestigious institutions like Antwerp, MIT University, Thakur College, Ferguson College, and our very own Symbiosis, and facilitated numerous training programs. Her dedication to staying at the forefront of emerging technologies has positioned her as a great leader in the field, and we cannot think of anyone better to navigate us around the complexities of data science. In her lecture, ma'am will take us into the fascinating world of data science and the opportunities it holds for us. Data science has the potential to reshape the way we live, work, and interact with technology. Ma'am's expertise will shed light on this topic and immense possibilities it holds for the future. Her generosity to share that knowledge and passion for the subject will undoubtedly make this beneficial for all of us. So, without further ado, I extend a warm welcome to Anjali ma'am and ask her to take over.
Ma'am, please unmute. Anjali ma'am, please unmute.
Thank you, Rutuja, for a warm welcome. It's always pleasure interacting with the students from Symbiosis. So today's topic is about careers in data science and what are the options that you have available. So I believe most of you have already studied data science and understand what is data science. So I'm just trying to help you out of what are the roles and what you should focus on and how you choose your career paths. So let me first share my screen. So I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So we are trying to see unlocking career prospects in data science. And so data science is where curiosity is meeting computation. So your curiosity as a data scientist and as a data science professional is quite important. So you have to be curious about the data that you are playing with. You have to be curious about how the data patterns, how you can reveal unseen data patterns and give some actionable insights to your customers based on the ad so that they can take a data-driven decision. So the ultimate objective of a data science is to study the data, to analyze the data, to see whatever the unseen data patterns, to come up with an actionable insights for data-driven decision so that people can take decision which will touch many lives. So it can be a decision taken by the government, including Maratha Arakshan, or it can be a decision taken by an organization, taken by a bank, the strategy that they decide for their future prospects. So that's what is data science about. So most of you have already studied the data science and you know various aspects of it. So let's see how do we what are the career prospects that you can think about unlocking yourself and maybe exploring or focusing on certain aspects of the area of interest that you have. So I obviously see that your dream would be working in a large organization of as a data scientist and playing with multiple the data sources and coming with various types of analytics and machine learning models and now AI and generative AI and all that stuff. So you can be a data engineer, you can be, so there are various roles. So these are the roles typically available on the job sites, or they're announced by the various companies when they open the positions. So it could be data engineer, data scientist, data visualizer, machine learning developer, AI engineer, senior data scientist, business domain experts, etc. So you'll see such kind of roles that are available. So we'll try to understand what does each role means and how do you choose the role that suits your profile and your interests. So according to, there are various sources of data. So the most of the sources of data are telling that there are many jobs available in the career data science and the demand is increasing. So hope that we will see that demand and you can capture or you can focus on certain things which will help you to be successful in your career. Now let's and what is the career like? First, let's say what is the career. So as we grow, like right now, maybe you are around your 20s, 25 or something. So you will have a job and then according to the time you will grow in your career. And as you grow, like the power that you get or the money that you will be getting will increase. So here on this graph, we are putting x-axis over the time and then on the y-axis, the power on the money that you have. So these people are kind of embarking on their career journey. So one person would go like kind of have a stable job and be on the side so that they have a stable job and they continue to live their things. The another people might have started on their growth journey and they will see the growth and they will see the growth path and they will kind of a climb. But then there is a problem. Okay, the data scientists are expected to solve the problems. So then you encounter a problem and it would be a big problem. So some people would say that, no, I'm not in for this problem, and they start with their career and then they have like little higher career, but in a middle management role or something. And then third person would help, like it will come up with the problem, it will encounter that problem, it will fight with the problem and it will solve the problem, and obviously it will a person can grow. So these are the different career paths. So don't be scared of the problem. As a data scientist, you are supposed to be fighting with the problem, solving the problems, because data science is for big ticket decisions. It's a big decision. It's not a small decision that we can take from data. So you will be analyzing big data and big data sets. So there's a lot of investment already goes into collecting that data and analyzing that data. So all these problems that you're going to solve is like a big strategic level decisions. The company or the organization or your customer, you should be able to help customers to take a proper strategic decisions so that it will improve their revenues, customers' revenue. So this is the path, typically the career path, and you can choose whichever the path that suits you. So don't scare of any problems. The problems, treat the problems as opportunities and you solve the problems so that you grow in your career. So you have already studied the data. You already studied so much of data. You must have seen so many of databases and all those things, whatever the courses that you must have attended, all these things you already studied, and still a lot of data is pouring into the system. All of us are using so many gadgets and etc. So the data is getting poured into the system. So the data is expanding. And what we'll do with that data, with so much of data available, the data scientist only can find out the unseen patterns, find out the strategies, find out the decisions that we can take based on that data. So every time, whenever you do any data science project, think from your customer's perspective, what kind of decisions, what kind of things that you can help your customer with based on your data. So data-driven decisions and actionable insights, those are the two things that you should keep in mind. As a data scientist, you have to ultimately come up with a data-driven decisions and some actionable insights. Actionable insights means the customer can take action, do this, do that, something like that, and that should be based on the data that you have analyzed or based on the machine learning model that you might have developed. So this is a typical data life cycle of a data science project, which you are already aware of. So you collect the data, you clean the data, you store the data, you visualize the data, you analyze the data, you model the data. You do machine learning algorithms, you deploy the machine learning, you have AI, and then you have generative AI. So all those things, everything you are aware like of it. And each of this box has a plethora of different tools. Each these, like there are so many methods to collect the data, so many methods and tools to clean the data, so many possible databases available to store the data. There are so many tools like Tableau, Power BI, and many others to visualize the data. For data analytics, there are again so many tools. You can have different data modeling techniques which will help you. Machine learning, there are so many algorithms that are available. Like you have to write those code in Python or whatever it is, then you have to deploy that machine learning. Again, there are some tools available like AWS, SageMakers, or Azure or something. Then AI, there are again tools available, generative AI, different models that you have to develop. So if you have this life cycle of a data science project, each box has so many tools. It is not possible for an individual to be like proficient in all the tools. So what I suggest you is like you focus on one of these boxes, which is of your interest first. Find out which are the tools available and kind of try to master in those tools. The other boxes tools you can be aware of, but at least try to be master of one of the box. Okay, either you can be mastering collection techniques, cleaning techniques, storage, database design, database storage, database modeling, or machine learning, or deploying machine learning or AI, Gen AI, whatever it is. So first you should because you should be knowing, obviously most of the things you should be knowing. However, right now you cannot learn each and everything. So you can think of focusing your energies to one or two particular boxes out of this, so that you can focus on certain things and then you can learn those tools in detail, because each and every tool has a learning curve and you have to learn that. So tools are similar. It's not that very different. Like for data storage, if you take like whether you take SQL, Oracle, Postgres, whatever it is similar. SQL queries are similar, but still there are minor differences. So you can think of focusing your energies and mastering something in one of two boxes, and others you should be able to know all those things. So you can focus on one thing and know other things. So you can be master of one box, you can be a master of machine learning, you can be master of data analytics, or you can be master of data visualization while you are aware of how the data is there. So understanding data is of prime importance, and or on top of it, you should be knowing statistics, matrix algebra, mathematics, as well as project management, how you are going to run your project. So if you are working on a data science project, this is the life cycle of the data science project. Each and every project would have these steps mostly. And on top of it, obviously, you need to be very, very good at descriptive statistics. If you want to go in AI and machine learning, you have to good at more of mathematics and matrix algebra. And project management is obviously required so that you deliver the project output as per the stipulated time. Hyperscalers. So you must have heard about hyperscalers. So hyperscalers are large cloud service provider which can provide services at various levels. So right now, obviously, there are three hyperscalers: Microsoft, Google, and AWS. So these are the three people who are offering cloud services. And along with that cloud services, they are offering the surrounding software and tools. So your customer could be using any one of it. So depending, and each of these hyperscaler would have something for each step of the data science project. Okay, so they would be having different tools for collecting, maintaining, storing, analyzing, visualizing, etc. So there are so many tools currently available. So that and three hyperscalers plus many more private things, private people are also available. So depending on your customer or the opportunity that you get, whichever tool, if you focus on one tool and master on one tool, it's easy to migrate on or learn the other tools. So these are typically called hyperscalers, and most of the companies, the large companies, would be using one of it, or they will have something on their own. So now what are the roles that are available in the data science? So first is data scientist. So what a data scientist is supposed to do is supposed to be understanding the data properly, various data patterns, so understanding graphs. The key role is to understand the data and look at the ability to reveal or see different patterns in the data. A data scientist should have a good statistical knowledge as well as the different programming knowledge of the thing. Okay. Then data analyst. So these roles, they're not like the names. You should take it with a pinch of salt. Like it's not the name available, but it is something similar that would be available on the things. Data analytics, who will be analyzing the data, and he is providing clear picture how it is and analyze the data properly from the database. And data analyst will work with the various departments of the company and like kind of provide the data required by that department. Data engineer. Data engineer is like a big role who will be responsible for these first three things. Okay. Data collection, data cleaning, data storage, data governance. So all this, the data engineer is responsible for the complete data in the data lake. You must have heard the data lake, right? In your architecture, you have a data lake. So data engineer is supposed to be responsible for bringing the data into the data lake from various data sources, authenticating the data, ensuring that the data is a quality data, build rules for cleaning the data, document the data, govern the data, so that whatever data and storing the data, obviously in the database, in a proper format so that it is scalable, and they are also responsible for performance issues of the database. Storing the data, backing up the data, taking whole responsibility and the ownership of the data. So data engineer, he or she is the person who is a custodian of the entire data, where it is properly stacked, properly given to the various departments, and it is a clean data available, clean and correct data. Okay, so he is a custodian and ownership, like ownership of the data is quite important here. Unless you own the data, your results of the analytics will not be proper. So you can be data engineer who will be more responsible of data, storing the data, and he's kind of a owner of data. So he has the entire key, lock and key, like his access management of the data, all those things, data policies, all these things would be decided by the data engineer. Business intelligence analyst is like analyzing the collected data. So once the database, clean data is made available by the data engineer, all the data visualizers, data scientists, all other people, all other department will use the data so that they can take a decision based on the data. So business intelligence is something, that term is kind of getting tapering down the term. That is, earlier it used to be quite a fashion of having business intelligence, but after data science this term is kind of tapering down. But it's more of understanding the data, finding out the patterns in the data, and then they have to bridge between the business and the IT team. You can also be a marketing analyst to assess like how do we take decisions, marketing decisions based on the data available. They analyze, suggest, and kind of take actionable insights about marketing from the data. Okay. Then there could be a data architect. The data architect will design the database, more of a data storage part, how the database is designed, how the data model is designed, how the various tables in the database are kind of connected to each other, what are the keys, primary keys, secondary keys, what are the data vault, the methodology that you typically use for designing the database, so that because you are dealing with terabytes and gigabytes of the data, you are not dealing with Excel data. Okay, so therefore it has to be properly architectured. The database design has to be properly architectured. If it fails, everything else will fail. So data architect is the person who is designing the complete architecture of your database. Then comes machine learning engineer. So once the data engineer data architect has designed the database storage, data engineer has ensured that the data is available. Then comes the machine learning engineer who will see that data, who will find out what are the variables available, who will talk to business, what is the business problem, and based on the business problem, are we able to develop a machine learning model so that we address the problem that business is facing. So machine learning engineer has to be thorough in statistics. He or she should understand whatever the machine learning models. He has to understand the business problem and have a model developed for that particular business problem, and then test the model and deploy the model so that it will help business to improve and solve the problem that they are looking for. You also need a database administrator who is going to administer the data, who is ensuring the security and privacy of the data, is responsible for day-to-day functioning and ensuring that the database is working and the data is available for everybody all the time. Then
Ma'am, please unmute.
data engineer and data scientists are the main role that are typically available, and you should be able to understand the data, analyze the data, and help the customer to take actionable decision based on the data. Along with that, now the new roles are also coming. If you're interested, it could be robotics. So it could be the robot to be developed, or we typically for data scientists, we develop or we ensure that the chatbots, we develop intelligent chatbots. Okay, not the robo that engineers typically develop, but here we develop chatbots, which are intelligent chatbots. So you must have used the chatbots for your bank or for your railway reservation system. So there are bots available everywhere. They provide some information to you. So right now the bots are kind of rule based, but soon it would be a more and more intelligent bots would come. They would understand the question that the users have in mind better. So ultimately the intelligent bots would be giving improved customer experience to the end user. So most of the self-service portals, so here I can do my things on my own, so that can help us. Then there will be AI engineers, like who will be designing, developing, the optimizing the artificial intelligence systems. So they would be innovative solutions. So it's on a high end of the spectrum of your career. You can be also be natural language processing. So it's a different stream again. It's based on statistics only, but natural language processing is another method or another model that you have. You can be a chief information officer, so who is responsible to provide the data for all the department across the organization. And chief information officer would be the top boss, who would be kind of ensuring that everything in your data science project is working properly and the business problems that are addressed. Okay, and the information is made available at the right time to the right person. So what are the skills that are required typically? So this gives a good kind of a good picture of what kind of skills that are required. So there would be mathematics skills, there would be IT skills, there would be business skills. You also need soft skills. So which person would need which skills? So you definitely have, like, your junior and senior data scientist has to be very good in mathematics and IT skills. Then your as you move in your career, you become senior chief operator and all those things, then you need more of a business skills. So look at this, whoever is need like more stars means like senior, let's take senior data scientist now. Here they are responsible for guiding and inspiring storytelling, formulate, prioritize project, collect data. So collect data is responsibility of a data engineer. Therefore, there are 4 stars. So data engineer need not be good at soft skills, need not be good at business skills, but has to be very strong in IT skills. Okay. So you pick your role, what you need, and then you become proficient wherever there are like more stars. That means that is your focus area, and you become proficient in that particular focus area. Okay, just go through this slide for a moment so that you choose your job and you choose your role and you focus, you decide where you should be focused and which are the skills. So you need to have mathematics, statistics skills. You need to have IT skills. IT skills means your database, your programming, your Python. Maths and stats means the algorithms, the machine learning models. that is should be there. Business skills is like understanding the business problem, understanding if you're working for a bank, how the banking systems are work. You can work for any organization because data science is an interdisciplinary field. You can work in a bank, you can work in finance, you can work in manufacturing, you can work in supply chain, or you can work in a government. So various organizations, everybody would need a data scientist. Everybody who has the data. So you have to first like understanding data is common everywhere, understanding and documenting the data. I'm again repeating this, documenting data is very important because if you don't document the data and if you don't have a proper discipline on getting the data collected, then your project would never succeed. So understanding the data, what data is coming, what are the metadata, the data documentation, the data governance. Everybody, it has to be properly documented, then only things would start falling in place. So apart from that, apart from like working as a data scientist and as a data engineer, you can also like there are so many now products are getting developed. So each generative AI, if you see that there is an app that is getting developed, so it's a product so you can be part of a product development team. You can be part of maintenance and enhancement of the product. So you can be part of, you're working for Microsoft, you will be maintaining the code for Azure or something like that. You can provide a customized data science solutions for the organization. You can design and develop ML models. Then after ML models, it is coming now the large learning models that are developing. And then you also have something like generative AI tools. And on top of it, there are also the legal aspects, the security aspects, the data privacy aspect, and data policy aspect. So all of this, you should be aware of it. So these are the things that are common, like you should be knowing what are our data privacy laws. You should be knowing what are the legal issues with the data. How you cannot pull data from anywhere the way you want. When you start working in an organization, you have to have a proper agreement for pulling the data. Then you're authenticating the data and the kind of data privacy. So it could be the data policy released by Indian government, or it can be a data policies across the globe. So there are various standards like GDPR for Europe, something like for America, it is different. So if you're working in a global environment, so what are the global data policies and what are the laws as per that country? You have to follow those laws. Unless you know that, you won't follow that law. So you have to be aware of this, and you have to be asking customers specifically questions about the legal and data security and data privacy aspects in their country, and what are the regulations that you are supposed to follow at the data collection and data cleaning and data analyzing levels. Okay. What are about data security and policy? There are data security frameworks, data security audits, data privacy rules. Because as a data engineer or data scientist, you are pulling the data, you are analyzing the data, and you are giving data to somebody else. While you are giving the data to somebody else, you might be giving it to some other departments. You have to ensure that the data privacy rules are followed. Data policy is implemented. You should be knowing about the government data policy, then the data policy as per your organization, and the data policy as per your project. So your project data policy should adhere to the policies of the government as well as the organization. So all these things, you should be aware of it, while the data engineers and data scientists typically must be knowing this and must be implementing this. Then these are the technical skills. Apart from that, what are the soft skills for data science professionals? So obviously a curiosity is one of the important thing, because you have to be curious about the data. You are to curious about how the data is getting collected, how the data you can reveal new patterns. You have to have an eye for detailing. If there is an issue, you should be able to point out. So you have to be very specific and particular about the details of the output that you are giving to the customer. It's correct, like the totals has to match. One thing here, like the patterns has to match. There has to be a correlation between the data dashboards that you are producing. Discipline is quite important, how your data is coming, because you are dealing with a huge amount of data. A small issue can become a big problem. So therefore you have to be a disciplined approach for collecting and analyzing the data. Communication skill is required, because you have to communicate that data and communicate your results to your customer as well as to your customer or the management, so that they can take the decision. You should be able to convince the management that this is the right decision. It can be a decision, maybe if you're working for a manufacturing, stop production of certain product, or maybe start marketing that product in certain geography. So such kind of a big decisions, you should be able to communicate and convince, so that that decision happens. That's where the success of a data science project lies. You help and help to take the decision, as well as help in implementing that decision, as well as going forward after the decision is implemented, what is the output or what is the return on investment on that decision. After you have implemented that decision, what is the percentage increase in the revenue, what kind of benefits that the organization got after implementing that decision. So communication is an important skill. Project management, it's very easy to not to meet the deadlines, because there is so much of data available. So you have to be very particular about managing the project and managing the entire team. Innovative mindset is required, because here everything is innovation only. A machine learning model is an innovation, generative AI is an innovation. So you have to have an innovative and as well as learning mindset, because the tools are changing all the time. Tools will change all the time. You will not be working on one tool in your life, in your lifespan. The tools will change. So what is important is your foundation of data science, understanding the data and everything is completely firm. Then only you will be able to switch between the tool, and you will have a learning mindset, so that you can continuously learn and come up with new ideas. Data storytelling, you should be able to build a story based on the data. There is so much of data available, and as a data and the business team or your customer, they are not that data literate, which you are. So you have to cover that everything in the form of a story and offer that story as on the platter to the customer, so that they get convinced, because most of the customer may not understand the data, and if you go into a technical things, all the data science project fails, because they don't understand the data. They don't understand their own data. So you have to teach the customer, you have to make the customer data literate, teach them, put it everything into a story format, so that a decision is taken. The presentation skills are already important. You are actually must be already working on it while giving so many presentations. Documenting the data, there are so many errors happens, because or so many issues happen, so many delays will happen if you don't document the data. So first thing, data engineer or data scientist has to prepare the data dictionary. What does each and every field in your database has to be recorded, from where it is coming, who is giving, is it brought up the data privacy, what is the type of that field, what could be possible things that are coming into that field. So that is data documentation. Preparation of data dictionary is of prime importance, and it's a responsibility of data scientists and data engineers. And governing the data, have a complete governance framework on the data, so that you have a proper control and ownership of the data. So these are the soft skills that are required for data science professionals. So what could be the strategy now for your thing is like strategy for your career right now is basically acquire data science skills, which you are already doing because you are doing all these courses. So you have already acquired the data science skills, and maybe you already know about the few tools that are required. Keep in mind the data science life cycle. Focus on one part of that box and focus on that and get expert in that so that you can be focused. Then another thing is like you have to apart from these courses, because everything is happening new and all those things, so it may not be part of your curriculum. So attend conferences and workshops where you have so many new things that are coming up. Network with the people, and along with that pursue certain additional certification like Microsoft Azure certified data visualizers and all those things. So those certifications are available, which will give you an additional edge to your career. So that's actually, then I'll open it for questions now. I'll stop sharing my screen, and I will open the forum for questions. You can put the questions in the chat because there are so many people are there. So I will open my chat, and you can start putting questions in the chat so that I will answer. Or you can unmute yourself and ask question also. Apart from tech nowadays, see every domain now, if you can take financials, manufacturing, supply chain, all these fields have a data science division. Whether it is a Procter and Gamble and you are selling a toothpaste, there is a data science required. You are selling a pizza, data science is required. You are building an app for 10 minutes grocery, it's completely data science based platform is required. Your Uber, your taxi, there also the data science is required. So all the domains have an opportunity for data science. Is DSA, what is DSA? Tufan Kundu, I didn't understand what is DSA. Just put what is. Data structures and algorithms. See data, again, you remember that the screen which you have shown about the data science life cycle, cleaning, processing. So data structure and algorithm falls into the data storage part, okay, and data architect part. So if you want to be in that, then the DSA will be essential. Otherwise, somebody would be designing that architecture for you, and then you will be visualizing the data. See, generative AI sits on the top of the kind of the life cycle of the data science. Generative AI, again, it has to have, like, if you want to work in a generative AI, you can be either users or developers of the large learning models, where you need a lot of data that is going into the model. So you need to understand the data. For a generative AI, you should be good at matrix algebra and neural networks. So these are the three things. If you want to work in generative AI, these are the three things first, at least you should know. Then there are various learning models, then there are various tools again, and then there is a like opportunity to fine tune the learning models for your organization, and then you can be a prompt engineer also. So those are the opportunities that are available in the in the generative AI portfolio or something. GIS, and definitely there would be a lot of prospects in GIS because a lot of data, structured data is available with whatever the satellite data and all those things. I don't have much experience in GIS, but GIS has many opportunities. Machine learning, yes, like you data scientist, you will be doing data visualization, and the next step is machine learning. If you're able to develop a machine learning model based on the real data and deploy it, that's a big success. Any other questions? Was it helpful? You liked the session, put it in the chat. So was it helpful? You got some additional information? I would like to get some feedback from you.
If there are any other questions, you can put it in the chat box.
And also your comments, like what you liked about the session and what additional things that you would like to know.
I think that's it, ma'am.
Okay, so you're happy with the session, put H into the chat box. GIS, we have to think about it because I'm not very confident about GIS right now.
Okay. As we conclude this enlightening session, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Anjali Mogre, ma'am, on behalf of Symbiosis Institute of Geoinformatics. It has been a privilege to host our esteemed guest, and we are immensely grateful for the knowledge and insights she has shared with us today. Thank you again to Anjali ma'am for taking the time out of your schedule and to enlighten us about the fascinating world of data science and its relevance in today's world. Your expertise has not only expanded our understanding, but has also sparked inspiration among our students. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Always pleasure talking to you. See you soon. Bye.
Before everybody leaves, there is a feedback form, and I request everybody to fill it so that you will get your participation certificate.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All the best for your career. Good
Thank you,
luck.
ma'am. Everybody will leave now.